Welcome to the United States of Tiffany. Our commentary offers a humorous take on wrestling. Please note, we're not bullying or attacking the wrestlers. We're engaging with the choreographed sport and its storylines. Our jokes and observations are about the characters and storylines, not the real people behind them. Tourists and citizens alike, welcome. Enjoy the show, and remember, it's all in good fun.
Alrighty then. Hello. Hi, how are you? Listen. There's a lot going on in these YouTube streets, okay? There's a lot. But we're going to talk about wrestling like we always do and make sure that everybody understands what has been happening. Monday Night Raw came on at 2 p.m. today, and I also have the schedule for Monday Night Raw for the next month. Okay, even going into October, because that schedule is going to fluctuate a little bit. So we're going to make sure you guys see that and know that, okay? That way you're well informed, and you cannot say that you didn't know because I told you, okay? Let's kick off this after show of Monday Night Raw talking about Raw. The show kicked off with Jey Uso. He came out, and it was an awkward kickoff, honestly. I didn't expect to see Jey Uso, honestly. I'm surprised that he was there. I am more than surprised at what we got out of this. And I think the biggest problem that I'm having is that they've set this up now so that, just to give you guys some context clues or some context period, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker came out there to interrupt LA Knight and Jey Uso possibly having a feud of their own. For whatever reason, I'm not quite sure. I feel like the more interesting feud was between LA Knight and Jey Uso, but they seem to have circumvented that. Can you turn it down a bit? And decided to go around that and go for something else. With that being said, apologies if my voice is going in and out. It was cold outside yesterday, so let's just keep that in mind. They decided to have them have a tag team match. LA Knight and Jey Uso weren't exactly the best of friends, but they were able to get on the same page to have this match. Now, listen, we're going to skip past everything else that happened so I can kind of get to the juice, and then we'll go to CM Punk and stuff, and we'll just skip around, all right? So this match was made impromptu. It was not a part of the announcement of matches that were happening for Monday Night Raw, okay? So at the end of the show, they decided to close out with this tag team match. Tag team match is happening. It seemed like it was a decent match, but towards the end, they cheated to get the W. Boom. They win. They decide that they have to take them down. right? So they get LA Knight out the way, completely toss him out of the way. He's over there by the French announce table, not even able to be a part of this fight. They already speared him and did everything they needed to with him. And they did the same thing to Jey Uso. Jey Uso took a tsunami and two spears. And they were getting ready to tsunami Jey Uso again and also send him to the hospital like his cousin Roman Reigns. But his brother Jim came out with the chair as an equalizer for the save. Now, this leads me to believe, and you know how I am, okay, with speculation. But this leads me to believe at WrestlePalooza, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are not facing off against a team of the Tribal Chief and main event Jey Uso. It's going to be Big Jim and main event Jey Uso. The Usos are going to be reuniting for this match. Now, do I think this is going to be a permanent situation where they become a tag team again? Again, I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure. However, am I mad at it? No. It was just a roundabout way of doing things. If I'm being fair. This also leaves LA Knight out in the cold. He has really no purpose to be on Raw, especially after what happened with CM Punk. Now, listen, this was even more cringy if I'm being honest. And I'm all for a good story, but it just made me irritated more than anything, which in turn leads me to believe that they've done their job. So of course CM Punk was beyond pissed because Seth Rollins made this claim that he doesn't need help and he doesn't need anybody to help him win, and then lo and behold, not only did he get help, but he used his wife to low blow CM Punk to win, which was even worse. So of course he calls out uh Seth Rollins. He's been calling him out, waiting for him. He shows up while CM Punk isn't paying attention. Obviously, he was already in the building before CM Punk got there. If we're going by kayfabe, afterwards he goes out to the ring and calls out CM Punk. I mean, calls out Seth, but Seth doesn't come. Becky does, and this is where we get this weird promo from her. She claims that Seth is the only one affected by the CM Punk effect. Like every time she's had her matches, they're cheering for him, they're calling for him. And she's like, after everything I've done, these people still want you while I'm out there wrestling. And I'm like, I'm trying to remember a time where they did this. And I can't remember any. Maybe y'all remember when they've done this, but my brain can't process a time when they've actually done that. I don't remember. Is it possible? Yes, but I don't have an inkling of remembering that. Excuse me. She goes on to say that he doesn't fit in the vision for the future. So he has to go. And I'm like, that's very interesting because neither do you. If we're being fair, right? Let's be honest. If Seth deems Braun and Bronson Reed to be the future and his predecessors, right? Well, his not his predecessors, but the people who are coming after him. Predecessors would be somebody who's before him, right? Am I having a brain fart? I think you're right. Okay, so I didn't. Seth would Seth considers these guys to be his, these are his students. He's the teacher. He's the mentor. These are the mentees. These are the guys who are going to be coming after him, right? So who is yours? Like, my problem is you snuffed out everybody who could possibly come after you to take over, and you wouldn't fit into the vision either. And even if we're going by Seth's own word of his vision, he doesn't fit either, because at some point he's going to have to hang up the boots and sit down. Whereas somebody like Braun has at least 10 to 15 years left on his career. That's not the case for Seth Rollins or even Becky Lynch, if we're being honest. Okay. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just calling it like I'm seeing it. You know what I'm saying? Is it possible for you to wrestle after 50? Yeah. Yeah. But do I think you should? No. No, you shouldn't. However, this led to a back and forth to which I was very confused between CM Punk and Becky Lynch. Because my problem is you're only mad because your husband is mad. You're not really making a lot of sense. It was very much a rambling type of thing. Like you were arguing with yourself. That's how it came across to me. It just was so weird. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, in this sense, when it comes to Becky and Seth and CM Punk or whatever, I understand the involvement and what it could lead to. But my problem is how lackadaisical it went and how you took it there. Like you went the reveal at Clash in Paris was fine, but the lead up to what happened today and the execution of it was piss poor. Becky's in the ring. She's not only berating CM Punk, but it wasn't even a berating. It was more like bragging on herself while trying to tear him down at the same time, which it didn't work because she was still talking about herself. 90% of that promo was about her and what she felt she deserved because the fans took something from her. And even though they propped her up on her shoulders, she felt like she did everything on her own. And I was just like, what is happening here? Like this is not even the right person to cut this type of promo on. What are we doing? This led to Seth finally coming out there, to which he did never came down there. He hid behind his wife, which is what Seth CM Punk said. As we concluded this little weird interaction between the three of them, Becky stopped him from going down there. He finally got around her, and Seth leaves for whatever reason. She then, in turn, slaps the man in the most ridiculous way possible, headbutts him, buries her head in his chest, just slap, slap, slap. CM Punk's no sells all of it because the slaps were weak as shit. Like, God, like, ask Stephanie McMahon how you're supposed to slap somebody, please. Because I don't understand. I'm so serious. Like, go back and watch it. Because when you watch how this played out, the only thing you're going to sit there and be like, what the fuck is this? Because she's hit other men harder than this. Baron Corbin got his ass whooped with Becky when they had that match with Becky and Lacey Evans. Do you guys remember that? She's done worse, and she's gotten worse done to her. Okay? Like, I was so fucking confused. I was like, what? This is all you have to offer. This is all you have to give. This is the only way you know how to. I was like, this is nuts. So he leaves, CM Punk leaves, and CM Punk goes to the back. And he's looking for Seth because he's like, I know he's back here. Where is he? Adam's like, he's not. He's gone. He and his wife have left, but he said, good news. You know where they work. So you can see him at the next show on Monday. And then right before this, the announcement was that John Cena was going to be having his last appearance in Chicago on Friday because they're going to be in Chicago on Friday when they come back to the States. And CM Punk asked Paul, he asked Adam, hey, where's SmackDown going to be? Adam says it's going to be in Chicago, home. Why? He was like, huh, that's tremendous. I'm like, oh God. Listen, this is if AJ Lee doesn't come back and you just got another way to get CM Punk to go to Chicago and you got him in Chicago, you don't have his wife come out there, and Seth and Becky aren't there, and you don't set this up, like, even if you wait until that following Monday to set it up, like, you are missing a golden opportunity to really roll with this. it has to be that she's coming back, because you can't use anybody else now with the way that you have this going. If you use Rhea, it's going to seem weird and wonky. I'm just going to be honest. If you use Nikki Bella, while it's going to be like a huge letdown if he goes with Nikki Bella or Rhea Ripley. I'm telling you right now, the only way this is going to work is if AJ Lee is coming back. And I think that she is. And a lot of you that's been begging for this woman to return at the Royal Rumbles, for her to return at Evolution. You guys wanted her to come back for just about everything that they have done. This is probably the only time that she's going to come back. And I hope it's worth it at this point. I really do. But yeah, afterwards, well, prior to this, Monday Night Raw was pretty mundane. If we're being honest, we're seeing the true colors of Asuka. Asuka is very much out of control. She wants to control everything and everybody. She wants everybody under her thumb. She doesn't want them moving. Kyrie is under her thumb, and she's trying to keep Io down as well. Now, they were able to beat Judgment Day clean without Io's help. And when she went to the back, she tells Io, hey, we're going to be there to help you beat Stephanie, because they have already set up the women's title match for WrestlePalooza. They decided to skip and forego a tournament and go right into a match with Io and Stephanie, which I don't like, but what can I do? Asuka says, we're gonna help you win, and then we're gonna be tag team champions, and then we'll be the champs. All of us be walking around here with golds. And she was like, well, I appreciate that, Asuka, but I don't need your help. You know, I can beat Stephanie on my own. And Asuka's like, you didn't beat Stephanie when you were wrestling her before, and you can't beat her. So you're gonna accept our help. Like, she was very adamant. And she walked away. And Io was like, I don't like what. And Kyrie was just standing there trying to talk to her. And Asuka pulled her away, called her away. Now, Rhea was talking to Jackie backstage. Jackie got on a really cute outfit today. It was so cute. Rhea was talking to Jackie backstage. And Asuka came up and told Jackie to go on about your business, bitch. She said, listen, I already told your motherfucking ass to mind your motherfucking business, hoe. Okay? Don't be in my business. Don't be calling my name and bringing my name up. Okay? She was like, you need to mind your business. I'm only going to tell you that once. And that's it. And then Rhea was like, girl, listen, I don't know what your problem is with me, but you finna back up off of me. Because you don't tell me what to do. Okay? Now she was like, I'm not Kyrie and I'm not Io. I'll bust your ass. Okay, so you might want to move right along. Move it right along, honey. And Asuka was like, I'm Asuka. I'm the most decorated person in this company. I'm one of the best wrestlers in the world. And I'll do whatever the hell I want to do. And I'm telling you that I'm going to be all up in your shit if you don't back off. And Rhea was like, well, bring it on, bitch. And Asuka was like, you ain't ready for me. You ain't never been ready for me. And Rhea was like, well, girl, don't you try me. Don't try me, ho. So she rolled her eyes and walked away, and Kyrie was just standing there like she about to cry. And then Oscar calls her like, Kyrie. And Kyrie go run to this shit. That shit is funny. It's funny. That shit is hilarious. Um, so we had the New Day fight with Grayson faced off against Penna and War Raiders. I'm gonna be honest, this match was pointless. It got War Raiders back on TV, which I appreciate, and it got Grayson Waller on TV. But other than that, I wasn't interested. The New Day lost, Penna and the War Raiders won, if you care. This match with AJ Styles and Dom was what everybody was looking forward to the most. The men had their match and everything seemed to be going strong. But of course, like I suspected, El Grande Americano came out there for the save. Judgment Day was banned from ringside, so I knew El Grande was going to come out there and cost AJ Styles his title. Now, Worlds Collide is coming up, and Dominic Mysterio is going to face off against El Vikingo at Worlds Collide. My assumption is that Dom made some type of deal with El Grande Americano. If he helped him keep his Intercontinental Championship, he would be the first one that he would, be able to get a crack at the AAA title when he beats Vikingo. Right? Cool. I don't know for sure, but that's what it sounds like to me. Now, if that's the case, then so be it. But it is what it is. No, I didn't see a funeral. So we also had a segment backstage with the former tag team champs in Roxanne and Raquel. Roxanne demanded to be a part of of that women's title match, and of course, Adam refused. She was like, "I'm the only one who has ever pinned EO, I think it was." So she was like, "I think I deserve to be in that match." He was like, "Didn't you just lose? Like, shouldn't you be more focused on winning back the tag team titles rather than worrying about a championship match?" And she was like, "How dare you? I'm this." And he was like, "Okay, well, you should have won tonight then, since you're all these things." He was like, "Look, unless you got something to worry about, you get the hell out of my office, because you were not my scheduled meeting for today. So I don't know why you're here, but you need to go." Lyra pops up, and Lyra's like, excuse me, am I interrupting something? Pierce like, no. She was like, "Actually, yes, you are." She was like, "What are you doing here? Why are you here?" She was like, "Don't you have something to be, finding Bailey? Don't you be talking to Bailey?" And she was like, "What the hell are you talking about? What do you know about Bailey? You know?" And she was like, "Girl, with the way you talk to her, I'm not surprised nobody's talking to you. I'm not surprised she not talking to you. Okay, what you think she was gonna do? Be your best friend after you yelled at her the way you did?" Well, she didn't lie. She did not lie. And Lyra got upset and was like, "Well, what the hell are you doing? You ain't doing nothing. You're titleless. You need to be focused on your title." I'm like, "Girl, you titleless too." But sometimes the Lord sends a messenger that ain't always the one that you want. Sometimes the message come how it comes. And the reality is, you did disrespect Bailey and you talked to her crazy. And you lucky it wasn't me, because I'd have knocked your teeth down your throat. Okay? But anyways, she went to Adam. She was like, "So Adam, what's the word? What'd you find out?" He was like, "Well, we called Bailey and Bailey seemed to be fine. She been saying some odd shit, but other than that, she seemed to be okay. Ain't nothing wrong with her." And Lyra was like, "Really? That's it? That's all you have for me?" I'm like, "Bitch, if you really want to know, fly your ass to wherever the fuck she at and find out for yourself, ho." Like, why are you so hell bent on trying to find out what's wrong with her? You did not have no problem writing her off. You didn't have no problem treating her like she was the bane of your existence, like she somehow got in the way, when in reality, it was your motherfucking ass who got in her way. She didn't fuck up your potential to be champion. You messed up on your own. You're the one who agreed to the terms and conditions of this match. This was you. Not to mention, you cost Bailey an opportunity at that title. You did that. But now you want to sit up here and act like you didn't do it? Girl, go to hell. Go straight to hell, ma'am. Y'all hold on. Give me a second.
Still don't know my worth, still stressing perfection. Let you all in my mental, got me looking too desperate. Damn, you ain't deserve.
Okay, so all of that happened. Lyra says, listen, I just want to get my ass back in the ring. Since you don't want to tell me nothing, you ain't got nothing going, just get me back in the ring. Adam she give me one of them hoes. Give me one of them. Since they popping off so well, give me one of them. Adam said, you sure? She was like, yes. Yeah, he was like, okay, Lyra, welcome back to the matches. Welcome back to Monday Night Raw. I'm like, well, where did she go? When did she leave? Wasn't she just on a little break, on a little vacation? She never went nowhere. She just decided to storm off like a little child instead of accepting accountability. Weirdo. Anyways, like I said, the show ended with Jimmy coming out there to save his brother. So I am assuming that this is going to lead to Jim and Jay teaming back up and reinvigorating the Usos. Okay. This Monday Night Raw was very, very mundane. There was not a lot going on, and it wasn't nothing worth talking about. The only other match that happened on the show was Dragon Lee facing off against Finn Balor. And it was the same old rinse and repeat. Dragon Lee performed exceptionally well. So did Finn. Once Finn almost lost, JD McDonough got involved. This gave Finn enough time to recover. He hit the coup de grace. 1, 2, 3, match is over. That is basically everything that happened. There was really no women's match except for the women's tag team matchup, and the segments that involved the women were either intergender, where you had Becky and CM Punk, or it was backstage where Asuka was basically rubbing all the women the wrong way. Now let's get to the nitty-gritty. Monday Night Raw is set to have a new schedule from September 15th to September 29th. This is what I was telling you guys yesterday. Now, on the 8th, it's going to go back to its regular program. September 8th, we're going to get Monday Night Raw at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cool. Love that for us. But on the 15th of September, you will get Monday Night Raw at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On the 22nd and the 29th, it will be the same, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. After that, Monday Night Raw will go back to its regular scheduled programming until October 13th, in which we will have Monday Night Raw in Australia, and it will be on at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. Okay? It's nuts. It is nuts, people. 8 a.m. Hold on, y'all.
Still don't know my words, still stressing perfection. Let you all in my mental, got me looking too desperate. Damn, you ain't desired. claps. Don't close your eyes to get away. Just make my mind and I'll arrange it. Beautiful, girl, you're stainless. You'll be fine, I'll be painless, yeah. All I'm drinking is champagne. All you want is the same thing.
Yeah. The 10,000 building, get your ass an apartment, put you inside a G-class, that's just a start. It get plenty things kind of life, but none of them is the thought of it. New piece around my neck is chess games, but shorty stay with calculated moves like Beth Harmon. Swear I'm more Purple Rain Prince than Prince Charming. Disappointment, I stay expecting it. The pessimist, gold medalists, flush the magnums just so they not collecting my specimens down.
Claps.
All right. Let me go to y'all comments. Let me see. Oh, okay. Alrighty. So the show is going to debut at 7 p.m. And then on October 13th, it's going to be at 8 a.m. So after this, these special views, I guess you could say, will be done. We'll be back to 8 o'clock every week, hopefully. And everybody, will be able to watch and not have to worry about spoilers and all that other junk. Now, like I told you guys, the first match for WrestlePalooza has already been announced. It is Stephanie versus Io for the Women's Championship. Now, WrestlePalooza is September 20th. It's 3 weeks from now. So next week, they're going to have a contract signing with Stephanie and Io to help build on their rivalry and make it a little bit more fun. They got a long time to build this up. Well, not super long, but they got long enough because next week they'll be 2 weeks out. 2 weeks out from WrestlePalooza. So they in for a good time, not a long time. I imagine that a tag team match, a mixed tag team match, will also be scheduled for WrestlePalooza, including Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch facing off against CM Punk and possibly his wife, AJ Lee. Now, Rusev also cut a promo today talking about how dangerous he is and how everybody else is inferior to him. Honestly, I don't care. I don't care about any of that. I don't care about nothing that he's talking about. I just don't care. I don't give a shit. Okay. In this month, however, we got a lot going on. In about, let's say, 2 weeks, because you got Tuesday the 2nd, which is tomorrow, and then Tuesday the 9th, and then you'll have NXT Homecoming. In 2 weeks, NXT will be heading to Full Sail. This will be a TV special. It'll be on the CW network, but it's going to be a big to-do because this is going to be the first time that NXT has gone back to Full Sail in quite some time. So we have that. And within the month, 2 weeks away from that, am I right? 2 weeks? Yeah, it'll be about 2 weeks. No, it'll be a week away. So about a week after NXT Homecoming, we will have NXT No Mercy in Florida on Saturday, September 27th, which is interesting because usually NXT PLEs are on Sundays, but they decided to put it on a Saturday. So that's very interesting. This is after we have WrestlePalooza on the 20th. And outside of the E, there's another PLE happening on the 20th. It's AEW's All Out from Toronto. And this is also going to be on Saturday. So you're going to have to choose or watch both if you do. All Out's coming to Toronto for AEW. And then WWE's WrestlePalooza is going to Indianapolis. And this is all on a Saturday. Wrestling's going to kill us, apparently. Moving into October. October is a pretty packed month for wrestling as well. October has at least 3 PLEs from 3 different brands, okay? So you have Halloween Havoc, which is happening on October 25th on a Saturday. Bound for Glory, which is happening on the 12th, and this is TNA's PLE. And then we have Takeover Perth, which is happening on October 11th. So that weekend of Takeover Perth, you have Crown Jewel and Bound for Glory. Luckily, they are not happening on the same days. You'll have Crown Jewel on Saturday. Bound for Glory is going to be on that Sunday. Okay. So that makes life a lot easier. And then we follow up with our final PLE for the year for WWE in terms of the main roster. And it will be Survivor Series on November 29th. This is our final PLE for the year, the final big one. And then the last PLE we have, or the last TV special we have, will be Saturday Night Main Event. And this will be John Cena's final match, the final time we see him wrestle. It'll be on December 13th. So the next couple of months are going to be quite the packed show, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have a lot going on, okay? And then they have already started Royal Rumble, okay? And they even have that week mapped out for you, or that month mapped out for you before you get to Royal Rumble. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Being on at 5 o'clock is very disorienting because it makes it hard for you to be able to it makes it hard for you to like adjust. You know what I mean? But hold tight, because they just announced the schedule for hold on. They just announced the schedule for the live show. And I want to make sure I get it right. For January, moving into Royal Rumble, and they're calling it the Road to Royal Rumble. And I just saw it, and now I can't find it. This sucks. Hold on. Let me see if I can find somebody who posted it. I know somebody has it. Aha, here we go. There it is. I love that for me. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Boom. Okay, so the Road to Royal Rumble, I know it's small, so let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger for you so you guys can see it, or at least get some inkling of it. That's better. Okay. So the Road to Royal Rumble starts overseas. So they're going to be back overseas for the first month of the year. And we're talking almost the first 2 weeks, it looks like. It's going to be like the first two, so maybe week and a half. Let me go. January. So from the 8th, which is Thursday, that is a live show. They start on the 9th with Friday Night SmackDown. By then, John Cena will be gone, so things will be back to their regularly scheduled programming. You won't have to worry about shoehorning John Cena in there. So from the 9th all the way to the 19th, that is 2 weeks. They're going to be overseas for almost 2 weeks. And then Royal Rumble is going to be in Saudi, so they're probably just going to leave from there and go to Saudi. Yeah, it's supposed to be in Riyadh. What is the date for this? Is it going to be the last day in January that they go to Riyadh? Because that means they would come back and then go back overseas, which I think is silly. So there's no official date for Royal Rumble. That's interesting. I know it's usually at the end of the month, so I'm not like being dumb. I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? Like, well, they had Royal Rumble in February last year. It wasn't in it was February 1st last year, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, they did. What's wrong with February last?
Yeah, it was February 1st. So let's go back to the calendar. I'm just pulling up my own calendar, y'all. So I mean, I think that it's going to be on the 31st this year. I don't think Royal Rumble is going to be on a Sunday. I think it's going to be on a Saturday. And with it being overseas in Saudi Arabia, it's going to be in Riyadh. Yeah, I think it's going to be on the 31st. They haven't officially announced the date for it, but it looks like that's where it's going to be. I mean, that's what it looks like. The time of it is going to be on the 31st. The 31st is on a Saturday. The 1st is on a Sunday. I don't think it's the 24th. I think it's going to be on the 31st. It's at the end of the month. That's more traditional for them, if we're being honest. They usually put it at the end of the month. I think it's at the end of the month. I think it's going to be on the 31st. If it's on the 24th, that's fine. Not mad at it. It'll give the superstars a little bit more time leaving from their European tour. They don't have to make such a jump to get back to well, it wouldn't be, hold on. They don't have to make such a jump to get back to Riyadh. They could just leave. Matter of fact, they could just go right there and then go right to Royal Rumble that week. They could start having their shows, like, because their last European show will be on the 19th. So the smart thing to do would be to just leave. They're going to be in Belfast, Northern Ireland on the 19th. The smart thing to do would be to leave there and go from there to Riyadh. So you might be right, Jay. You might be right. It might be on the 24th. But they haven't announced it yet. And when they do, we'll be like, okay, great. However, This is a bigger picture of the tour dates for the Road to Royal Rumble. And there are, let me take the comment section down right quick. There are 4 dates for live televised shows. The rest of those dates are WWE live shows. So they're going to be in Berlin, Germany for SmackDown on Friday, January 9th. They're then going to be in Dusseldorf, Germany on Monday, January 12th. And then on Friday, they'll be in London, England. And then on Monday, that 19th, they'll be in Belfast, Northern Ireland. Okay. So the guys and Goyles are going to be moving around a lot, but they're going to have a pretty decent tour schedule here that's happening on the live house shows here. So, I mean, it's fine. You know, they get to have some really cool shows. Other than that, I do think Jay might be right that they might have it on the 24th, and Royal Rumble's going to lead into that, which will make their lives a lot easier. The flight won't be as long. They won't have to worry about coming home and switching out. They'll have all their shit packed, ready to roll. And they get a good break in December, and they pre-record a lot of things in December. And since they stay in the States for majority of the December shows, they don't have to worry about doing a lot of work. They can kind of prep. After Survivor Series, they can start prepping for Royal Rumble and everything they have to do. So this is going to be a pretty easy schedule for them if they do it correctly. But again, make sure you guys, I didn't call you. Make sure you guys prepare for September and everything that they have going in terms of the TV schedule. It is going to change from the 15th to the 29th. It will start at 7 p.m. On October 13th, they will start at 8 a.m. You can always watch it on the replay for Netflix. Don't always feel obligated to watch it when it first comes out. It's easy to avoid spoilers, honestly. Just don't open your phone. Don't go into any of your social media apps on your phone. That's how I did it yesterday while I was out and I didn't get anything spoiled. I was able to watch the show in peace, and I highly recommend that you do the same. Social media is there. It doesn't have to be, but it is there. So just be mindful of that. You don't have to watch everything. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, y'all, that's it. That's all we got. Okay. Now I'm going to probably be recording my podcast with my homegirls tomorrow or Wednesday. If I record Wednesday, you guys will be the first to know. But Tuesday, we're going to talk about this on the podcast. We're going to talk about The Rock. He just recently got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes for his new movie that's getting ready to come out. It seems that The Rock has beefed up his acting skills, and a lot of people love the movie that he's getting ready to come out with. So if y'all care, please go and watch that movie. I have to remember the name of the movie. What is the name of the movie? The Rock new movie. Let me see. Because The Rock lost an immense amount of weight after he did this movie. It's called The Smashing Machine. When he talked about like I think he was talking about the first MMA fighter. He really bulked up, but then he dropped a lot of weight. Like he's really down. And I was like, geez, he looks nice as a slimmer guy, but he was huge. You know, so he's gotten down, dropped his weight a lot. But he got a standing ovation at their premiere for this movie, and they are giving this thing they got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. They're talking about Oscar buzz for him. It's all kind of things. So we'll be talking about that over there on the podcast. We're also going to talk about Street Fighter because Roman got written off TV recently, which leads me to believe he's about to go and film for Street Fighter with his character Akuma. Cody has been written off TV for a while, especially with the birth of his new daughter, Leilani. I think that's how you say her name. And he also is going to be gone for a little bit. He may pop up for, a little bit, but he's supposed to be gone soon too, because he has to film for his character Guile for Street Fighter. So it's happening. It's happening. But we will see. We will see. And we're going to talk about a couple of other things that I want to discuss. It's going to be an interesting conversation when we talk about have the podcast tomorrow. So please come on over and join us. We usually have the podcast over on YouTube. Okay, so come join us. This is the podcast here. If you can't join us on YouTube, you can always listen over on Spotify. I love you guys, and I will see you guys next time. I didn't mean to hold y'all so long, but I was trying my best to eke out at least 40 minutes from this. But Monday Night Raw just wasn't worth the time or the effort to watch. So I highly recommend that you just get the cliff notes. Don't waste your time. Maybe watch the end to see the ending of it. But to be fair, like the rest of it was just... the rest of it was kind of just like, oh, girl. But other than that, I will see you guys on Wednesday when we do Freestyle Wednesday. We're going to have a little discussion. We're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about Becky Lynch's role right now in the Vision and what you guys think of it. We're going to talk about the Vision as a whole in regards to the faction. And we're going to talk about whether this is going to catapult Seth into the superstardom that he so desperately craves, or is this just going to be another failed faction under Seth Rollins' tutelage? I want you guys to really think about those questions, and we're going to talk about it on Wednesday. Okay, bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more wrestling content. Check out our merch and consider becoming a member for exclusive perks, special emojis, and members-only content.